Hi, just an update on my 50 Lagoon from Innovative Marine. Had it running about a week now. The coral and the fish are actually not really planned, because I'd bought a second-hand tank prior to this upon getting back into the hobby after a few years off. You can see my previous videos, I've had quite large tanks before, and the second-hand tank actually cracked and flooded my lounge. It's the first time I've ever had that happen. I think the heater I was using went into the glass, the heat of it, and caused it to shatter. It was just too strong for the aquarium. So, lesson learnt, don't buy second hand, I guess. By the looks of it, there was already a bit of damage on the corner, which I didn't notice when I first bought it. So anyway, I ended up going all out and getting this set up. So I've never really put fish or corals or anything in during a cycle. I've always done fishless cycling. I just think it's less cruel on the inhabitants, and I've never had an issue with ghost feeding. In other words, putting food in when there's no actual marine life in there, and using just bacteria, cycle bacteria. That's what I'd usually use, nitrosomonas and nitrobacter bacteria, which change the ammonia to nitrite and a nitrite to nitrate, which is a nitrogen cycle. So I've never really done this, but I bought this from my local fish shop, and they kindly took them back in, the clown and the coral, Euphyllia coral, which cost me £70. So I was determined to get them back before they either sold them or it would become an issue. So I put them in this. You can cycle a tank with corals in. Not ideal with fish. I mean, this is a tank bred clown, so it's very, very hardy, quite disease resistant. I've had many before. As usual online, you'll read all different things, all different advice, everyone you speak to. It's quite an old-fashioned way now to have a fish in there when you cycle in a tank. There's no need really, but under my circumstance, I think I'll get away with it. I've used live sand as well. So a week in, ammonia's now gone down to 0. The fish only put in on Sunday. So last Friday the tank was set up. The fish was Sunday. So we're now on Friday. So the ammonia is now 0. Nitrite's 0.1. and nitrate 0, so I'll say it's about a third way through its cycle. I'm yet to see whether live sand is actually going to make this a speedier thing. The tank I bought second hand, I left that vacant with no life in it and just ghost fed it for 5 weeks patiently, which was a little nano. Didn't do any videos of that because I was just getting back into the hobby, and then that happened with the flood, so I've started again now. I've also bought the Tunze, we call it, Tunze, Tunes, whatever you want to call it in the States or wherever else. I bought that auto top-up, the Tunze osmolater, which is the universal one, which is renowned for being one of the best you can buy really, and they've been going around a long time, around a decade, with various adaptations to that kind of model. And it's phenomenal. I'll show you that in a moment. So there's the 5017 water level controller. So the light's showing as level. The too high light will come on if there's an issue and it starts to fill. I'll show you the float switch sensor in a moment, which will create an alarm. The light below is when it's actually sending water into the system. and the too low light will come on if your sump or RO container, RO reservoir, this is a sumpler system, so I'm using a container, if that runs dry, and it'll cut out. So let me show you the above. So there's the sensors in the rear chamber. There's a float valve there, so if the water starts to fill, I mean, this ain't going to fail, it just floats with the water. So unless that would get mega clogged up if you left it for years, maybe. Me and my friend were discussing that earlier, we can't see how this could fail. I mean, the reviews online on this are phenomenal. This system and this safety of it. So if that was to go up, it would create an alarm. And then the water level sensor is there. Any evaporation, it comes on. That's a tube coming in. It slightly hits on this wall here, my rear wall of the aquarium, but that makes no odds as long as it's going in the tank, and that's pretty solid. So that hooks onto there, clamps, all this, everything, you get everything with it. One thing I would say is if you've got thick glass, which is 10mm glass in this aquarium, it doesn't quite, it's not quite strong enough to keep it completely firm. I mean, it's not moving when I do it like that, but I can move it if I wanted to. But I suppose I'm being fussy, but all I'm saying, it's not as rigid as, say, if you were putting a power head on the side, like a vortech or something. But there's no livestock back here. I'm not going to mess with it. Okay, I'll try and show you it filling up. Okay, so I'll just show you the left-hand view of the tank. Please subscribe and like if you like what you see. All comments welcome. And this is the slight angle view, and I'll give you a quick view of the other side. Thanks for watching.